Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Memory Kick TCG. This is your host, Luck. I suppose a introduction is due since this is my first video on the channel. My name is Luck. I play more TCGs than Nuke because he's a. But I do play more TCGs because I'm awesome, and I mainly will be doing the videos on other TCGs such as One Piece, Magic, and Yu-Gi-Oh! If Nuke lets me.
You serious?
But I'm going to try to break out to give you guys some contents and other things. Essentially, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through level 0 through 3. Classic stuff. I'm going to run it back to this event. I know it's on the screen, I can read what it does, but I want to talk about this later. Because I got a couple words to say about this event. I mean, this event has some beef. But we'll get back to that later. So this deck is 4-door, 4 StockSoul. Pretty standard. You are running the level 2 Union combo and the level 3 Megumin combo, which we will get to later. So let's get it cracking with the level 0s. So first you got the Crimson Demon Village Megumin and Union. Pretty standard Brainstormer, but it does have a pretty nice first effect, and we can use it, unlike all these other ass Konosuba decks. It can't run it. Talking about Union, your Darkness deck sucks. Sorry, I'm gonna flame it this whole time because I'm an asshole, but it's not that bad of a deck. Probably the better deck. It's the better deck. But who gives a shit? This one's more fun. Am I right, chat? I hope you guys don't mind me referring to you as chat. We can figure out what to call you guys later, if there is anyone watching this. But essentially what this one does, basic top check for tap self chalk stack for Brainstormer. But it does give +1 soul when your door climax is placed on your climax area, which is pretty nice to give yourself a little power pump. Or soul pump, I guess. Next is the Having Nightmare Wiz. This card is... I'm running it too because I feel like it's a little bit not important. The main 3 cards I want to mess around with the proportions are the Wiz, the Crimson Demon, and the Hans. This Wiz card, when it becomes reversed, or when the other character becomes reversed, one of your characters is +1k, which can help with the second part of this card. So if you pay 1 and rest this card, you can choose one of your Adventure or Magic characters, and it gets a salvage until end of turn, which is pretty nice. It really helps with their consistency, and to be able to have a pay 1 salvage on reverse, which shouldn't be too hard because a lot of these cards get pretty beefy in the early game. It's pretty nice. You can use it to salvage your Union or your level 1 Megumin if you have it in the waiting room. Just overall, pretty nice cards, but I do think I could mess around with the ratios with this. I don't think I'd like it higher than 2 because I feel like realistically you only ever want to have 1 of these in play. But I think 2 is a soft spot for it. Next is my favorite card in the deck, Expert Self-Introduction Crimson Demon. I know this card might be tough for a lot of people because, there is the stigma that, a lot of card game players are pretty antisocial. But this card is here to help you with your social skills. So when this card is placed on the stage from your hand, you may state your own name. If you do, your opponent may state his or her name. If he or she does, all players put the top card of their decks into stock. So it's pretty nice if you introduce yourself to your opponent, which you should already be doing, Introductions are due when you're playing card games. You get to Blind Soul, which is pretty nice. It's pretty important for late game. It's pretty nice to start building stock early. It's also a runner, which is pretty nice. It's 2k, pretty decent stat line all around. I do feel like cutting this card might be smart to make this deck a little bit more, streamlined and efficient. But this deck isn't a competitive deck by any means. It's just more of a fun deck to play. But I do want it to be as optimized as possible, so that you can have the most fun as possible. The next card is Sightseeing in the Crimson Demon Village Megumin. So if you clock yourself with an Adventure or Magic character, you get the top check 3 pick card. Being able to just top check 3 and pick a card, very nice, helps with deck speed a lot. And it also really does help with you getting your climaxes in hand if you need them, or your level 1 if you need them. Being able to have the grace and the graciousness that Bushi gave us to be able to pick a character. Thank you, Bushi, for giving us some good Megumin cards. Or Climax. Very nice. Overall, pretty good card. Next is Hans. This card, I want to run it more than 1. I think it's a great card for this deck. So, you can pitch 2 cards and put him in a waiting room. Choose a character in your waiting room with level less than or equal to your own level, and put it in the stage on the position this is on. Really good. Works really well with your level 2 Union combo. Really great for getting your stuff out to make sure you have enough stock for that big level 3 combo. Which we'll get into in a little bit. Next is Megumin and Komeko. Megumin and her little Jit sister. So, during your turn, this card gets +1k power, so it's a 2/5 stat line on your turn. Not too shabby. Then when this card is placed on stage from your hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's an adventure or magic character, choose one of your characters, make it its plus 2k. So it's really nice that this lets you power pump your other characters too. So you could pump any of these to 2k, but honestly, I think it's always best to pump her 2k because that'll make her 4-5 stat line. Because all these other characters, their stat line, mostly get them to 4k at the highest. Having a 4-5 is pretty nice. Overall, it's a really good card. It's your main beater for level 0 to make sure you can get over. It works really well with this Wiz. So you can, funny enough, if you reverse your other 2 characters and give her plus 1k with both of that, she'll be a 6-5 level 0. Pretty funny, pretty good, and you love to see it. Next up is Massive Explosion Magic Someday. Megumin. This card really helps this deck feel a lot more consistent and a lot better to play. So you pitch either of your level 3s, so either the Union or the Megumin, you get the top check 5, pick an adventure character, and it power pumps itself 1k. So makes your hand feel a lot less bricky early. So if you have one of those games where you draw into maybe 1 or 2 with level 3s, instead of pitching it to, cycle it, you can pitch it to top check 5, which feels so much better, helps with deck speed, helps you get through those cards pretty fast, and it power pumps itself to 3k, which is really nice. You have a 3k body to swing with. Overall, really great card. Definitely run it 4. Would not change this at all. Love this card. Next is the Tabit Shy Union. We run this at 2. It's a 1-1. It's 6k base stats. Pumps itself to 1-5 if you have 2 other... Or if all your characters are Adventure or Magic, which they'll all be. You won't run anything other than that. It gets plus 1-5 in hand on tour. So it's a 7-5 hand on tour. Very nice. Sticks on the board pretty well. You'll get your value out of this card for sure. And it swings over most level 1s. So overall, a nice card, but I don't think running it at 2 of, or more than 2 of, will be any better. I think 2 of is a nice sweet spot for this card. You usually end up having in your hand because, you got this top check 3, you got this top check 5, you got your Brainstorm, you got your hand salvage. There's ways to get these cards into your hand really easily. Next is the level 1 awfully reserved today Megumin. This card's awesome. So if the event is in your level, it gets plus 2k and plus 1 soul. So it's a 6k 2 soul. Very nice. And then it salvages your event if you pitch a card. Really nice. Works really well in this deck. Really like it. Next is the Shaken Megumin backup. This is a very nice backup. Again, going more off using your hand as a tool, or as a resource, more of. You pitch 2 cards, and it's anti-early play. Very nice. Playing into Darkness, you can pitch this too. Send that Darkness to Waiting Room. Nuke Cries. It's pretty awesome. Really great. Might want to run this at more. Might want to mess around with this. Maybe drop one of the other cards 2 or 3 of. But definitely a good card to run in this deck. Now we get to the bread and butter. We get to the Union. So this is a early play Union. If you have 4 more characters, pretty easy to meet. She gets -1 level. And amazing combo. Very similar to the level 1 Rio combo in Bardor Danmachi. Nuke will be very happy that I mentioned that. Shout out Nuke. So essentially what you do is you pitch the climax, top check 4, and you grab any characters. This is why you run all of these pitch things. You run this pitch. You got this pitch. It really helps you plush your hand, and it gives you a lot of ways to use your hand as a resource. So you're usually going to get 3, unless you get Ultra Hose like me on the sim and hit 1, because, the sim is amazing, but also it hates me. It doesn't love me back. It's not a mutual relationship. If it could leave me out on the street, it would. And I understand. I know I'm a bum, but, would be nice for it to love me. But that aside, very great. Plus it's your hand. Gives you resources to use with all your other stuff. Amazing level 1 combo. I love it. And then we got the Fear of Dolls Megumin. This is a funny little card. So, whenever one of your other characters gets reversed, it power pumps the character 3k. Really helps your Megumin and Union stay alive. But I mainly run it for the second part. So it has a Burn Brainstorm. Bet you never heard of that. It's awesome. Really a flavor when sticks with, Megumin just dealing a bunch of damage. Being the explosion magic user of the group. So you pay 1 rest to your characters, Brainstorm, and then burn 1 for every climax. Really can help you finish in those tough games where you really don't have enough damage output. Because you'll see why I say that your damage output's a little bit iffy with this deck because of level 3 combo. But really nice to just have a Brainstorm burn. Great way to fix deck speed also. Just overall, pretty nice card to have. I think 2 is the sweet spot for this too. You don't need to be seeing this card all the time. If there's games that you don't have this card in your hand, it's fine. Doesn't really matter. But overall, not a bad card. And pretty fun to run. I think that's the main reason I run it, because it's pretty fun. So this is the Reunite After a Long Time Wiz. This is your level assist, but it's also a consistency piece. Because pay 2, pitch 1, you can grab the Climax combo if you have your level 3. Which is a little bit iffy that you have to have your level 3 in the first place. But I guess if you're going for the Climax combo, you'll usually have your level 3. But pay 2, pitch 1 is a bit steep, but it's a pretty easy salvage. You don't have to have a Climax at hand to do a Climax swap or anything. But it is a little bit iffy with, you know, you having the problem of having to have all this stock for your level 3 with having such an extensive level 3, or expensive level 3, with how much stock you have to be paying for it. But overall, really a card for consistency, helps your Megumins and your Unions stay alive, but 2 of it's a soft spot. Next we got the Convenient Transportation Magic Wiz. Pretty good card. This is your off finisher, besides your other off finisher, which is the Megumin, but I don't know if you call that an off finisher. But on play salvage 1, pretty nice. You could salvage this Megumin back row, you could salvage a Union, you can salvage a Megumin. Very similar to the Aki on play salvage. Very nice. And then also similar to Aki, but worse. Pay 3 Icy Tail. Bit steep for an Icy Tail. Pay 3 is a little bit tough, but it is a non-climax Icy Tail. Pretty decent. Very good for helping you finish the games when it's very tough. Like maybe if your opponent's sitting at like 2-3. This combined with your climax combo will usually get the job done. Maybe not kill, but will usually get them pretty high in level 2. So overall, pretty good card. Very nice to have, because you need at least one off finisher in this deck, because even though the finisher is very good, a little bit inconsistent. Next we got the main early play of this deck, the Greatest Man Union. This card is very good. It's 2 or less climax and one gets an early play. And then if you have 2 or less Adventurer Magic characters, or 2 or more Adventurer Magic characters, this card gains +1/+5 in Hand Encore. Very nice. So it's 10/5 body with Hand Encore. You'll want to be getting cards out of the hand, because you'll be plus with Union, the other Union level 2 so much. And also as a healer. So early play healer with Hand Encore. What else could you ask for, man? It's a whole package. It's peak. And then next, finally, we got your finisher, your foremost mage, Megumin. This is a on-play stock heal. So pitch 1 stock heal, again, using your hand as resource. Very nice. Main theme of this deck is trying to make the most out of that. Also, the main reason why I run both of these at 3 of is because you'll see with the combo, you don't really ever want to have more than 1 copy of each of these out at a time. There's not really reason to when you could be having the Wiz out. So the Climax combo is pay 3 and send the Climax, and rest the Union and this card. So you're doing a lot. You're doing all that. This Climax combo better be crazy, which it's pretty crazy. You know, I need you to taper your expectations. It's not like meta crazy, but I mean, it's pretty good, although inconsistent. So what you do is you Fumio your opponent, and then you burn 3 twice. Oh, sorry, I'm forgetting the best part. Silly me. You also send the character in front of the clock, which is really nice. Your opponent playing -2 soul, like they playing that bitch ass who's that character? Redder Mash, the Mash deck. Send that straight to clock. We don't care if she plus 16k -2. We ain't swinging with this anyway. Get that out of here. So it's very nice. Not good against characters that are hexproof though. Not awesome when that happens. Well, I don't know if it selects because it's just in front of this, but you know, guaranteed 2 damage from this combo is nice. But Fumio into a burn 3 twice is a little bit brutal. Because, you know, usually they just refresh if they're not, like, screwed on all their climaxes in stock. Usually they'll cancel at least one of the burn 3s. But if it sticks, man, it hurts. So, overall, that's why you run these off-climax finishers. Because you want to make sure you can have these be more likely to stick. Because, you know, you're hitting off of climaxes. You're usually not going to be burning any more than 1 or 2. Which is nice in tandem with these 2s. Like, that's a guaranteed 2 damage with these 2. And then with these, hopefully you can finish off with maybe a burn 2 or a burn 1. But the bad part is you do have to tap them, which means you cannot attack with them. So you're usually only getting 1 attack off with your main, like your ideal board, you're mainly getting 1 climax off. Which is a little bit tough, honestly. But I think it gets the job done most of the time. So that's it for the main cards. I want to go through a couple of interactions before I end this video. mainly talking about this Hans and why I like it so much. So obviously you can probably tell with the Megumin, you'll always have these cards, or a lot of cards in hand. So being able to pitch 2 and then play out one of your level 3s for free is very important, because your level 3 climax combo is pretty, or your finisher is pretty expensive. So you're going to be running 2, 4, 6 to play out these 3 out, because your ideal board is one of her, and one of her. And then also you want to make sure you can have that pay 3 to do your Icy Tail. And also your pay 3 to do your combo. So that's like a solid, maybe even 12 stock right there. But luckily, this Megumin does refund a stock on play. And also, you can use your Hans to play out your Wiz. Or even to play out your Wiz and your Union, which is why I'm thinking of running this. Honestly, I feel like you should run this at 2 of, at least. Maybe even 3 of. But if you're not worried about getting that heal off, I honestly would never do it to do Megumin, though. Unless if you're sending it 3-0 and you have nothing in clock. You always want to get that stock heal. Because that's really nice. Because you could even, what you could do is you could pitch either the Wiz or the Union you want to early, or not early play, you want to play out with the Hans with that to heal, and then you can just go straight into Hans into one of them, which is really nice, really cool interaction. Think this Hans is a really nice play piece. And that's the main one I want to talk about. Nah, I'm just kidding. I almost forgot the event. I didn't forget it. I was ignoring it. Me and this event, we got some beef, okay? It's a pretty good event. I'm going to get closer to my mic for this one. It's a pretty good event. I'm kidding. This ain't even that good. But you mainly run it for this. Let me talk about the situations in which you might use this. If you're feeling a little daring, and you want to get yourself to 3, you can hit yourself to 3 with this. Or even 2. You can play at level 2 or lower, so you can level, but you do put into level. So let me read it first. If your level is 2 or lower and your opponent's level is 1 or lower, discard a magic character. If you do, put this card into your level and deal 1 damage to your opponent 6 times. So you're burning 1 6 times. That's really nice. You know, it really fits in with the flavor for Megumin. It's a really cool card, but my lord, does this thing, it's almost never worth it. I mean, if you're sitting at 1-1 and your opponent's sitting at like 1-5, you'll knock yourself to 2, and your opponent will hit themselves to maybe like 2-4, ideally. But like, honestly, sending yourself up a whole level is a little bit steep. It's kind of a tough cost. But if you're feeling crazy and you want to pull this off, be my guest, man. I'm not here to tell you how to play this deck. I'm here to help you play this deck. You know what I'm saying. But those are the main things I want to go over. If there's any questions anyone has about this deck, feel free to ask them in the comments below. I got a shill. This is YouTube. Make sure to like and subscribe. And make sure to, check out Nuke's video on Darkness. A lot more professional than mine. And probably more well put together. But I really hope this video helped you see why this deck is awesome. And I will see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.